Hi, YouTube fans. This is Matt of Post-April 6th YouTube channel. I know things look slightly lopsided and shaky. I'm doing a filming on 13th Avenue between, no correction, North Josephine between 13th Avenue and 12th Avenue. And I do not have the pop socket attached to this new phone, and the main reason why I don't have the pop socket installed yet, even though I purchased one, is I'm waiting for a nice Van Gogh styled phone case, and believe me, it's really going to look pretty good. And I am not home, and I'm not near my new tripod smartphone camera tripod. And I have just walked past the west side of the street, or would actually be the left side of the street of oh my god, I'm full of tangle-tongueness. Of North Josephine heading south. There we go, that's what I meant. Oh boy. And I tell you, I have gathered up at least 4 different apartment leads. I kid you not. In fact, here's one right here. See? Pickwick. Now, I may move there, I may not. But I can tell you this much. I am most certainly interested. Look at this place. This place is really cool. Look. See? Look. Okay. And the other thing that I did before I started the filming of this part of the vlog is I went into, and this is the first time I've been in there, the very first time, my very first visit, Copper Door Roast Coffee shop. And what I purchased was an Americano gourmet coffee, hot coffee drink, and I got a little croissant because I was hungry. I needed it. Yep. And even though I'm not going to live here, let's take a look at this Casa del Rey. Neat place. Yeah, apartments there are probably a fortune. Sorry, I shouldn't say this type of thing. Heck, the cheapest apartment inside there is, if you're lucky, $1,400 a month. Okay, I was crossing 11th and I had to be quite cautious. There's Copper Door right there. Yep. Place. There's the place itself. And I didn't intentionally walk past there to point that out. It was just by coincidence. Just by coincidence. There we go. And I'm going to keep walking a little bit further, and then I'm going to get on RTD, because yeah, I could afford an Uber or Lyft ride home, but you know, I got to save a few bucks. I don't want to regret it later that I didn't do what I'm going to do, which is save money and take an RTD ride home. So that's it for now. Stay tuned, there's going to be more. This is going to get really exciting. You know, I'm on 4th Avenue and York Street now. Yeah. Yep, it's York Street. And earlier when I said that it was Josephine, it was actually York. I had a good day at work, but I did a lot of hard work. Because I tell you, it got a little hot and busy there at times. And I dealt with some customers who were, language barrier challenged. They were nice people, but a manager had to step in and really convince them to do things a certain way to pay for their groceries through the EBT SNAP food card. Well, like I had said earlier, stay tuned, there's going to be more, because when I get home I'm going to reveal some pretty interesting stuff. And I only included this part of the vlog in this particular area because I have never, ever, ever gotten onto an RTD bus from 4th Avenue. Never. This is the very first time. And this is pretty exciting, I think. So, like I've said at least twice before, stay tuned. There's going to be more. Well, I'm back again there, YouTube fans. And if you are just getting in because you missed the first part of it, this is Matt, a post-April 6th YouTube channel. And instead of sitting down, I'm standing up, and I am using my nice new tripod. Yep. See, here's a better look at the baby. See? I think that's pretty nice. Okay. Now I'm sitting down right in front of my activity table, and I have this nice blind that goes over the large picture window. Okay, I think things are better now. Now, in case people don't know exactly what this is about, this record that is, this is a, let me find the exact release date. Okay, I found it. It's 1985. I had to verify that to be sure. It's Paul Hardcastle Rainforest. And what it is it says includes the special UK United Kingdom remix of Rain Forest. And it's a two-sided record that plays back at the traditional 33 1/3 on 12-inch vinyl records. And side one goes as follows: Rain Forest, and then it says in parentheses remix, King Tut, Panic, and Forest Fire. On side 2, it's Loitering with Intent. AM, meaning, the difference between AM and PM, A.M. Sound Chaser, and Rainforest Original Mix. Yeah. Okay, I had to pause briefly to do some light adjustment because it seems to me that this background is a little bit darker than it's supposed to be. I don't know why, but it is. Okay, back to the other item that I bought. In fact, let me pause just really quickly to go get it. Here is the Tattered Cover Bookstore green, like a dark green coffee mug. And it says on the mug, EST meaning established in 1971, because that's true. That's true. And the woman who is the second owner and the one who really made it quite famous, Joyce, the now deceased, the late Joyce Mescus. I don't know this for absolute sure, but I'm pretty sure she got ownership of it from the original owner in 1974. And let's just say, for sake of argument, this is, using my two fingers, it's the best simulation I can do of the two sides of the street of 2nd Avenue. I'm pretty sure it was on this side is where the original Tattered Cover was. And then they moved it to this side. The area where I think is near St. Paul. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pause and I'm going to verify this really quickly, and then I'll be back. Okay. I did some careful verification, and it's in the 2900 block of East 2nd Avenue. It's about 2nd Avenue, East 2nd Avenue, and Fillmore, or what's actually formerly called North Fillmore Street. And then what happened, this happened somewhere in the late 80s, early 90s. They moved to 1st Avenue just before Cherry Creek Mall was fully constructed and became what is commonly known as, the indoor Cherry Creek Mall. And it was in a nice building that was right across the street from Cherry Creek Mall itself on 1st Avenue. And then in 2005 or 2006, they moved to where they are now, and they've stayed there. which is East Colfax, and it's in between Columbine and Elizabeth. It's right next door to Saks Fifth, or I almost said Saks Fifth Avenue. It's wrong. Twist and Shout Records, because Twist and Shout's over here, and Tattered Cover's over here. Yeah. And there was also a movie theater at one point, as to where Tattered Cover is now. I think it was called Brownstein or something like that, movie theater, and now it's Tattered Cover. And the other thing that I bought, and this is something that once I put some grab bag records up on eBay after I've listened to them first, before I put them up on eBay, I'm going to ship them in a container like this. Yep. And the other thing that I did, that I've already mentioned in this YouTube vlog, was I went into Copper Door coffee shop, and I had an Americano drink, hot coffee, very good, along with a croissant. I mean, it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. And then what oh goodness, I bumped my knee on the on the activity table, or I should say my leg. After I first went to Copper Door, then I walked over to Twist and Shout Records, and then after I was in Twist and Shout Records, I went over to Tattered Cover, and I bought this wonderful coffee mug. And then and I did a little shopping around inside Tattered Cover. And then I walked about 5 blocks over to Pete's Kitchen, and I had a grilled cheese sandwich with bacon. And then what I did is once I got to a certain part of York Street, which I called Josephine for the wrong reason, I started filming for the vlog. And then what I did was, after the filming was done, and a few minutes after the filming was done, the Route 24 comes this way towards me, heading south. I went in the southern direction, and I tell you, there's nothing I can do about it. It's beyond my control. But if the Route 24 was just running about 5 to 6 minutes early, no, actually, I correct that too, 6 to 7 minutes earlier than it actually was, I would have caught the 35 that goes east this way. But I missed it. So what I did is I got off right in front of Kent Place Shopping Center, and then I walk a little bit this way to where HAMPDEN and South University Boulevard intersect with each other, and then I walk up East HAMPDEN just a few blocks to a street that is called Buell Mansion Parkway. It's an entrance into a closed gate, covenant-controlled subdivision where there's some very, very expensive homes. I mean, the cheapest home in there, I'm pretty sure, is at least $2.5 million. I mean, you gotta be pretty wealthy to have a house there. And what I did was is I waited in the area near the sidewalk to wait for a Uber ride. And when it started raining, I got my umbrella out immediately. And it didn't rain really hard, but it was raining a little more than gentle soaking rain, to the point where it was a good thing I had the umbrella, because otherwise this nice album would have gotten drenched, soaking wet. And even with this cellophane covering on it, the album could have gotten warped. It's not good. It's not good. And once I got on, the driver was a neat guy, and he dropped me off right in front of my building in the apartment complex, so I could go down the stairs and unlock the door. And Isabella the cat was sure happy to see me. She really was, because she was hungry and she needed her cat food. Yeah, I needed to pause to give myself a nice soft drink, because I was feeling really thirsty. Okay. And after I got home and I fed the cat, and I made myself a cup of coffee, I turned on the smartphone, and I had some struggles with it, because my connection with AT&T, I could use the mobile app to do internet searching and watch things on YouTube through the smartphone, but when I wanted to turn on the hotspot signal, it wouldn't let me, due to the fact that there was an error message saying they were having network problems. So what I did do was I went over to my rinky-dink SafeLink phone that I qualify for because I'm on SSDI. I turned that on, and I got a good signal, and I watched a video about it was about a 15-minute one about what Sleeper Dude is doing. And then I watched two different special vlogs about a guy who does things about the life and the death of famous rock stars. And the two different vlogs I did about the life and the death of rock stars were two people that were both in the band Cars. Yeah. One was Benjamin Orr, the bass player, and the second one was Rick. I think it's pronounced Ocasek, or Ocasek, something like that. Yeah, he was the same age as actor Michael Douglas. And he died when he was in his 70s in 2019. Complications from some type of surgery, and he had coronary heart disease. He was not in good shape. It's really too bad he's gone. And then I watched a couple of other things, and the one thing I watched was by the Australian man who does movie reviews, and he was doing a movie review about the movie Napoleon Dynamite. And after I saw that review, I did a search, and through YouTube Movies, they were showing for free Napoleon Dynamite. And I saw the movie through and through. Man, that was a really unique way to do a movie, because after they run the credits, there is you see a segment where it says 2 months later, and it looks like it's handwritten in instead of with visually correct typed font letters. It would be typed up on a computer, a typewriter, you know, or special video effects, special effects. And what happened 2 months later, I'm not going to say, because I'm destroying the whole movie. I'm giving the whole movie away. But I can say this much: it was a type of ceremony that was beautiful. I'm not going to say anything more. I'm not. But watch the movie Napoleon Dynamite, and whether you see it for free or you pay $2.99, $3.99, $4.99, $5.99, $6.99, or just pay over $8.99 and up for a DVD, it's worth the money. It's worth it. Hold on. Oh, I almost forgot. Look at this watch. I got this watch for just a tiny bit less than $32 through Amazon.com. See? It's a good watch, because I tell you, that Casio watch that I have has just about had it. It keeps up time really well, but when you want to change the date, it won't let you, because this part of the watch that where you change the time to a different time zone or whatever, I can change the time, but I can't go, you go like this to change the time. But on the Casio watch, if I want to change the date, you have to put it in at the right setting, and you go like this. It's in reverse, and I can't change it. And finally, I'm just like, I've had enough. It's been real, it's been fun, but it's worn out to the point where it's frustrating me, and it's time for it to go. And my kitty Isabella has just showed up. Let's take a look at her. Hi, sweetie. Hi. You're on YouTube. Did you know that? Yeah, you're on YouTube. You're on YouTube. Yeah. You're on YouTube, kitty, 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 kitty. Yeah. I had to pause to try to, go, here, kitty, kitty, here, kitty, kitty. And she doesn't want to hop up on the bed and sit next to me, so what can you do? Cats are independent. They're like that. I'm not gonna get all upset about it and hold a grudge. No. I got her. See? Yeah, you're my kitty. You're on YouTube. There's a nice close-up of you. Yeah. Oh, you're such a sweet kitty. You're such a sweet kitty, yeah. You like being petted, I know you do. Okay, hold on. I'd let you go. There you go, I let her go. Well, I better pause and think about it. Well. I got this baby out, and that created a nice special effect. How about that? All right. Okay. After I paused and I really thought about it for about at least 5 minutes, here's what I'll talk about. In late March of 1982, my parents decided to go on and I went with them, of course. I was only 8 years old. my parents decided to take off for Tampa, Florida. Because, I was on spring break this particular week. And I went with them on a trip to Florida. And this trip was decided on, I think it was a Saturday. No, it was decided on before that, but I was informed about it on a Friday or a Saturday, a Thursday or a Friday. And then on Saturday, we woke up, I'm going to say at about 8, 9 o'clock. And my parents made breakfast, and they finished getting packed. And they helped me get packed the night before. And we ate breakfast. And after we finished eating breakfast, I saw a 1978 movie where the leading star was Chris Christopherson. It was Convoy. And Chris Christopherson, who played Rubber Duck, and his real character name was, I think it was Martin Penwald, but he went by Rubber Duck. And he was driving a Freightliner or a white Freightliner truck with a 871 Detroit diesel engine in it. At least that's what I remember. It might have been a different type of truck, but it had that distinct sound of an 871. And what happened was we saw the movie from start to finish, and I clearly remember the part played by Ernest Borgnine, and he played this guy with a distinct mustache, and he had this really tough sheriff look, really fearless redneck. And he takes out an M60 machine gun and goes, and he tries to gun down Rubber Duck Martin Penwald, and he goes right into a river. Yeah. But he turns out living, and he has a patch over his eye. And I think the movie was either produced or directed by Sam Peckinpah. Yep. So anyways, after the movie, we get in the Oldsmobile Tornado with power windows and power seats and power brakes and a pretty good diesel engine in it. Alright, even though I really don't like seeing this thing in the YouTube vlog, I'll just go ahead and make an exception this time. I'll let this be the background. Okay, so we leave the house in a nice 81 Tornado, and the first thing we do is we take a drive to, because it was on the way, because we lived in Castle Rock, and then, we lived here in this part of Castle Rock, and figuratively speaking, it's almost the halfway mark. We go to the Littleton United Bank because back then it was United Bank, and United Bank got bought out by Norwest, and Norwest got bought out by Wells Fargo. And it's probably going to stay that way until who knows when. And, you know, I got a feeling that sometime in the next 10 to 20 years, Wells Fargo is going to merge with, I don't know, Chase Bank or Citibank or who knows. And they went over to the drive-through teller, and they withdrew, and I'm not joking, $600 in cash for spending money. 2 $100 bills, 2 50s, and a bunch of 10s and 20s. In fact, you know, come to think of it, it was more like $650 in cold hard cash. And we drive to what was then the only airport we had, Stapleton. We get all our baggage checked in, and I think Dad had to pay at least $20, $30 for baggage fees, I would assume anyway. And then we get handed the tickets. And then me and Mom and Dad all go to the concourse we're supposed to go to wait for a Continental Airlines flight. Yeah. And I mean, I wasn't a big problem to my parents, but I still was nervous about being on an airplane. I didn't make sure to throw a fit. I just tried to, you know, be a good, brave kid, but not too brave, to the point where I was irritating my dad, Mom and Dad. And I was doing little kid things when I got close to the point. I said, "Dad, is it time for us to get on?" "No, Matthew, I'll let you know. I'll let you know." And then when my dad, when it was our time, my dad just kind of gently elbowed him and goes, "See, it's time to go now. It's time to board the flight in the next few minutes." And he says, "Okay, come on, let's go." And we stood in line, and we went on to the airplane, and and it wasn't a non-stop flight. We had a layover it was either Columbus, Ohio, or it was Atlanta, Georgia. And we were laid over there for, I'm guessing, about an hour, hour and a half. Then we get back on, and we take the flight to Tampa. And what happens was, or at least this is what I would assume anyhow. Sorry, I had to pop my jaw. The people we are staying with, because see, we didn't have to pay for a hotel, were Marge and Keith Yates. Keith was Keith was about 54 to 55 years old, and he was a existing pilot for TWA. Marge was about 53, but she had mostly white hair. And when we landed, Mom went over to the nearest payphone, and she called to let Marge know that we landed. Or Keith took the phone and he assured my mother that Marge was already on the way, because she called the airport ahead of time to find out when the flight was landing. And we went to go get our luggage, and then we go a little bit over this way, and we find Marge. Yep. And she was happy as heck. We were all happy to see her. And then we followed her to the car, and there was this old lady who was probably in her 80s, who was babbling stuff, and you know, Marge is a very kind, good-hearted lady, great lady. But she said to her, I mean, she didn't say it really loud, but she just looked over at her and said, "None of your damn business. None of your damn business." And she kind of gave her a dirty look, and after the second time, the old lady stopped. And then we go out these special, you know, big doors that were there. You know, there were automatic doors that went like this as soon as you walked over there. And then we walked. It was a parking lot. We walked over to where Marge's Caprice was parked, and we all got in the car, and we drove. I would assume at least 8 miles to where their house was. And at the time this driving was going on, it was at least 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, and it was pitch black outside. It was pretty dark. And she set up the 2 different bedrooms out of the 3 bedrooms we wanted to sleep in. And she let me have a little bit of a snack. I forget what that snack was. That was, gosh, 40 years ago by now. In fact, it was longer than 40 years ago by now. And I slept in. And the next day, we wake up, and I think we had some breakfast. And then we go out. And we go to, I think it was either A, Sarasota Beach, B, Waikiki, or something that sounded like Waikiki, or it was Busch Gardens. Yeah. And then on the next day after that, we went to SeaWorld. And we went to a beach that was near the house, and I did some swimming. Yeah, I had fun. And we did some other fun things. On the next day after that, we went to some other fun type of activity. And then the next day after that, we went to Disney World in Orlando. And my dad got some of those inexpensive cigars that are rolled like a cigarette. And I got some little magic gadgets. And I think we went to, if it wasn't that day, it was the next day after that. Yeah, I think we went to Six Flags. Yeah, Six Flags. Not Six Flags over Texas, Six Flags in Florida. And and there was a good deal on spaghetti. And I think it was either Marge or my mother said to me, "Look, eat some spaghetti. It tastes similar to pizza. You'll love it." And I got some pizza, and by golly, I loved it. In fact, I liked it so much, I was like, "Gosh, can I have seconds?" And my parents says, "Nope, sorry. You've had enough. You have seconds, you're really gonna," my dad, well, you know, my dad was using clean language. He says, "You're really gonna have the poopies," meaning diarrhea, or you're gonna throw up. And I didn't eat any seconds. And then the next day after that, we went and me and Dad went and did some swimming in a country club. But I mean, I had a good time. But I tell you, my eyes were tearing me up. My eyes were really red. The special chemicals in the pool water got to me. Yeah. And I had to lay down for a bit. And then the next day after that, me and Dad went swimming one more time. And then we were all packed up. We went to a nice brunch. And then we got in the plane. Me, Mom, and Dad. And this one was a long one. Because we had layovers, even though they were brief, in Pittsburgh, either Columbus, Ohio, or Cleveland, Ohio. And we had one, I think, in might have been Salt Lake. And then we got to DIA, or not DIA, Stapleton. And when we arrived, it was cold, and it had been snowing. And we didn't have a blizzard, but I was feeling depressed because I had to put up with cold weather again. And there was, I think it was that day or it was the following year, there was a delay in when the school could pick, when the school bus could pick me up to get me to school. Yeah. And my mom says, if you make it to school, if you make it to school, I promise you that I'll pick you up at school when school is out, and we'll go out to Taco Bell and have a nice late lunch. because I was I was fussy about going back to school. But we did it. I mean, I went to school, and then mom picked me up at school, and then we went into Littleton to eat at a Taco Bell to eat some food at Taco Bell, because back then that's when Taco Bell tasted good, but now it's gross, yuck. Oh boy. Well, that's about it, and I did the best I could to memorize what happened way back in March of 1982, because golly, I carefully did some counting. That was that was a little more than 43 years ago by now. I was only 8 years old back then, and now I'm 51. And my dad was only about 30. Hold on. Yeah, my father was only 37, and he didn't turn 38 until after September of 1982. Yeah, he was 37. But he's making good money as a self-employed diesel mechanic. Yeah. Well, that's about it. It's time for me to go now. I hope everybody had a great Memorial Day weekend. And thank you everybody for being such good loyal subscribers. I've gained at least 4 subscribers in the last few days. And goodbye. Thanks a lot.